So first of all, again, good morning. Thank you for very much, everyone, for jumping on this call. So my intention for this call is for everyone to see different types of listing presentations. All right. Now, everyone does things a little bit differently. If you've been to John Dietz's 10-step listing presentation, he has his style of doing it. If you attended Bold Classic or Bold 2.0, you'll see that there are different ways of they have their listing presentation. Eddie Said, he's been an agent for 31 years, and he's going to be teaching the class not next Thursday, but the following Thursday. Over the last 31 years, he's probably picked up a couple good habits and seen what works and what doesn't work. So I'm really interested to see what he's been doing for the last 31 years and what works for him. But over the next 4 weeks, we call it Listing Presentation Mastery because there's not one listing presentation that is better than any of them, better than others, right? Whichever one works for you is the best one for you. Okay, now you're going to see that most of them are going to have the same components. Okay, and most of them are going to have the same components, just different ways of saying the same thing. At the end of the day, whatever you do to show your value, gain their trust, and get them to sign a listing agreement, that's the one that works. Okay, so I've been doing this. I've been in real estate now for 5 years, and I have probably changed my listing presentation probably about 15 times, it seems. All right. So what I ended up doing is actually taking most of the listing presentation that I use. It's a mixture of John Dietz's 10-step listing presentation and Bold, and I put my own little spin on it as well. Okay, so I want to show you that. Next week, Rob Carbuccia, pro coach over in Fort Lauderdale, he's going to be showing his listing presentation. And then Eddie and then Mike Chalongo in 3 weeks from now. So I'm really looking forward to seeing everyone's presentation, see what they do and what they do differently. Griselda, it is so awesome to
John,
see in a while.
Did you put this in the Facebook group, John, already?
No, it's on Pro Coach. I have it live in Pro Coach.
Pro Coach Facebook, yes?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
All right. So first of all, who has never done a listing presentation? Who has not done a listing presentation at all yet? Okay. All right. So a couple of us, and I see a few names, but and that's fine. Hey, Griselda, how are you?
Hello.
Right? You're working your other job for a little while. I haven't seen you. We missed you.
I missed you guys, and I'm back with a vengeance.
I know that your days could not be complete without having to be on our calls lately, right?
Thank you. I know. And yes, I haven't done it either, so I'm happy to catch this.
Perfect. So really, when it comes back down to the listing presentation, this is going to be one of your most important skills that you're going to need to master. And I don't say this is one of those important skills that you should learn. This is a skill that you need to master. Okay? Because at the end of the day, this really is your livelihood.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And when you take listings, you're controlling the market. You can leverage your time. You can work with 10 to 15 listings at one time and still have a life. Whereas if you work with 10 to 15 buyers at a time, I tried it once and I had a full head of hair and I don't have it anymore. I pulled it all out. All right. So, it's much more time leveraged and plus, like I said, you're controlling the market, you're controlling the transaction. Okay, so learn your listing presentation and master it. This is one of those presentations that you need to practice multiple times a week until you get it perfect. And even when you do get it perfect, you continue to make those listing presentations. All right, doing it as practice. So I was listening on Bold the other day to Amber Rutherford, and she said in her calendar, she already blocks out time for listing appointments. Even if she doesn't have it, she has a placeholder for listing appointments. And she said, if someone cancels, or if I don't have a listing presentation for that day, she says, I get someone else in the team and we practice our listing presentation. She said, I'm given a listing presentation like 4 to 5 times a week at least. And I absolutely loved that because when she did her listing presentation on Bold's last week, she absolutely crushed it. I don't know if anyone else got to see that, but she absolutely crushed it, and it was just amazing. Okay, and that's how you want to be seen. You want to be seen as the expert, the consummate professional. And when it comes to your listing presentation, just have it mastered. That's how you're going to get your business. Okay, so that's my soapbox talking about why you should know your listing presentation and why you should tune in every Thursday for the next couple of weeks. What this class is not, I'm not going to be actually going into the pricing presentation. Okay, because we could spend an entire hour speaking just on the pricing presentation. Okay, I'm actually teaching pricing strategies to sell on Tuesday at 9:30. So if you want to learn about pricing, jump on that call on Tuesday. But we're going to talk about our pricing then. This isn't going to be a demonstration. Just, hey, watch our listing presentation. You'll see at sometimes I'll jump into role play and then I'll jump out to explain some things as well. Okay. So let's get started. So it's amazing. It's an awesome feeling when someone says, yes, come over tomorrow at 4 o'clock or Thursday at 4 o'clock and Saturday at 10 o'clock and let's do a listing presentation. So you finally got the appointment and that is amazing. All right, so celebrate that for about 2 seconds and then get to work, starting to either schedule another one or practice your presentation. Okay, so when one of the first things you should always do, let's say you have the presentation scheduled for Saturday, for this Saturday, let's say. You want to make sure you're calling at least a day in advance to do a follow-up, a confirmation call. Now that confirmation call is going to be really, really, really important for you because that's going to give you answers to the test. That's going to find out what your client or your potential client, what the seller is looking for, what his goals are. And this is going to be your pre-listing appointment or your pre-listing consultation, let's call it. Okay. I do not do same day listing presentations. So if I'm making calls in the morning and they're like, come over at 3 o'clock, right? I'm gonna tell them that I have another appointment and I'm actually not available. Now the reason I don't want to jump into a listing presentation same day is because I didn't give myself sufficient time to practice. I won't have sufficient time to get all my homework, all my ducks in a row, do a thorough analysis of the home, and I could end up going in there looking ill-prepared. So I don't like doing that. All right? Plus, I also want to be a little bit hard to get. So if they're like, hey, drop what you're doing, you come in right now, and I just drop what I'm doing, it kind of looks like, oh, how busy were they? All right. So I take most of my listing presentations at least 24 hours out, at least the next day. I do want to have some time to be able to prepare. So what I'll do is I'll call the day before. And I'm gonna call and just do just to confirm this call. Cerise, do you want to be my a seller on this with me? All right. So awesome. I'm gonna ask you to unmute. There you go. All right. So the confirmation call or the pre-listing consultation is just going to sound something like this. Hey, Cerise, this is John with Keller Williams. I know we're scheduled for our appointment tomorrow at 2 o'clock. I just want to make sure, are we still good for tomorrow at 2 o'clock?
Yeah, 2 still works for me.
Excellent. Perfect. What I'm going to do is actually give you a call when I'm on my way. Okay. And maybe about 15 minutes out, just so you know that I'm on my way though.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, perfect. Cerise, one of the things I like to do, if you have a couple moments, I just want to ask you a couple quick questions, and those couple of questions is going to help me to prepare for our meeting when we meet tomorrow too. Do you have a moment?
Okay. All right.
Perfect. So let me ask you this. And what I'm doing, I'm sorry, I'm going to break script for a second. What I'm trying to do is ask for their goals. I'm trying to find out what she's looking for. Most importantly, I'm trying to find out her motivation and what price she has in her head in order to sell.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm asking the teacher for the answers to the test before I take the test. Essentially what I'm doing. Okay. So jump back into script. So Cerise, tell me, when you're, why are you selling again? Can you just remind me why you're selling?
Yeah, I need to move closer to my mother who's getting up in age and needs some help.
Okay. And where's your mother at now?
New Jersey.
In New Jersey. Oh, wow. I have family in New Jersey. So that's great. And let me ask you this. When are you planning, ideally, when will you be there?
Ideally by August.
And what's important about August?
Well, in August, we had to switch over her home care person. They're no longer available, so I would love to get in there to take that over.
Okay, let me ask you this: if we were not able to get the home sold by August for some reason, do you have the opportunity to float two mortgages when the home you're going to be purchasing over there and the one you have down here, or does it absolutely have to sell by August?
It has to sell.
Has to sell by August. Okay,
Yeah.
no problem. Cool. I'm gonna go ahead and make that as a star. I'm just gonna go ahead and star that. Okay, so we're moving to New Jersey to be with your mother, and want to get there by August. Great, excellent. Cerise, let me ask you: are you interviewing any other agents?
Currently, I just have one other person, just a friend of a friend of a friend.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And which company are they with?
They're also with Keller Williams, actually.
Excellent. So we've already decided we're gonna go with Keller Williams. So that's awesome. Okay. All right, perfect. And let me ask you, when are you going to be meeting with them?
I'm going to be meeting with them on Monday.
Meeting with them on Monday. Okay, perfect. Have you, let me ask you, is there anyone else that owns the property or any other decision makers that's going to be there with us tomorrow at 2:00?
No.
No, just you? Excellent. All right. What would you say the condition of your home is? Obviously, I haven't seen your home yet. Okay. But if you had to rate the condition, the overall condition of your home, with, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being it's definitely superior to all the other homes in the area. I got a lot of different upgrades that most of the homes here don't. 5 is just a regular normal house, about the same as everybody else. Where would you say your home rates?
I think my home is at least a 9.
9? Okay, perfect.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of special upgrades do you have in your home?
Oh, I last year I did a complete overhaul, new kitchen, new master suite, bathroom and such. 2 years ago, a new roof was put on, outside kitchen area. It's just fabulous, John. It's fabulous.
Excellent. So you sound like you put a lot of money and some nice things into the house, huh?
I think so.
Perfect. Let me add one last question before we go. What do you have a price in mind of what you think your home is valued at right now?
I've been thinking that 520.
520. All right, cool. And how do you come up with that number?
Just based on what I paid for it, the upgrades that I've put in. I've been, on websites taking a look at the other things that are on the market, and I think mine is better than theirs.
Okay.
So I think 520 is fair.
Okay, perfect. I know you did say August. If we were to get your home sold in the next 30 days, would that be a problem?
That would not be a problem, John.
Not be a problem at all. Excellent. And when we meet tomorrow at 2:00, if everything sounds good, are you ready to get started and hire me tomorrow?
We'll see how tomorrow goes, John.
Okay, sounds good. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. I'll give you a call about 10, 15 minutes when I'm on my way.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, awesome. Let's break script. Let's talk about that. All right, what I'm doing is trying to ask a bunch of questions to find out her motivation. All right, I haven't seen the house, and if I'm about to do a CMA, I'd like to get an idea of what upgrade she put in the house. So even though I didn't see the house, I'll have an idea of how that's going to compare to some of the other properties that's in the area. Okay. I'm also finding her motivation, her time frame, when she wants to leave, and her motivation as to why she wants to move. Because what I'm going to do when she tells me that she wants to overprice her home over here, she wants to do something that I know is not going to cause the house to sell, I'm going to bring that motivation up to her. Cerise, when we first spoke, you said you wanted to sell the home by August, pricing our home at 520, while the comps are saying 450. That's not going to get you there by August. Did something change? All right, so I'm going to keep using that motivation. I don't want to say using her motivation against her, but I'm going to keep reminding her of her motivation. And if that still is her motivation, we need to move on it. I'm also asking, if I sell your house within 30 days, would that be a problem? And I don't know if you saw, her eyes kind of lit up when I said that, you know, and that's very, very, very common. And I love asking that question. I love watching their expression, because you're going to get, they have two immediate emotions that come up. Wow, this is actually really happening, and I might actually be able to sell it in 30 days. Or that's also it's also a little bit of fear might come in and say, oh my gosh, if he sells this in 30 days, I don't have anywhere to go until August. Okay. So that answer is going to help me figure out more or less, we talk about being ready, willing, and able. That's going to find out if they're ready to actually do something right now. All right. I've asked that question before, and they're like, yeah, if everything works out tomorrow, I'll hire you tomorrow. Great. If I sell your house in 30 days, would that be a problem? Oh my God, I got to get a new job over in New Jersey first. I got to go find a place. Absolutely. I can't sell this house in 30 days. Great. So even if they hire me, they're not motivated right now to do something, right? They're not an A seller, maybe a B+ seller, but there's not a, don't be surprised if you walk out of there and, it's you put them on a nurture instead. I always like to ask how much they believe their house is worth. I don't care if we're looking in a $400,000 neighborhood and she says she thinks her house is worth $1.5 million. I don't care what she says. I'm not arguing with her whatsoever. Right? If she's saying 520 and I think we can actually get her 600, I'm not telling her, hey, I got great news for you. All right. I just want to know, what are your thoughts? I haven't done any homework in the house. What are your thoughts? Okay. Now, that number is also going to help me to know how much homework I need to do. Okay. So if I'm doing comps and I see that I'm only finding things.
Hi, Jeanette. It's Victoria.
And if I find out that she is, Victoria, I'm going to mute you. There you go. So if I find out that the comps in the area are only suggesting a $450,000 price, I really got to make sure I have all my ducks in a row so that I can explain to her why I think her house is to be 450 and not 520. Okay. Versus if all the homes in the area are $600,000 and I'd be potentially getting her more than she's expecting, I still want to make sure I have all my ducks in a row, but it's going to set the tone for a much different conversation. All right. She's going to be excited when I say to her, I got great news. You think 520 and I might actually be able to get you about $80,000 more. Okay. Which is always great when that happens. And that doesn't happen often, by the way. All right. That doesn't happen often. Okay. But that's really my pre-listing consultation. I want to get as much information out of them before. Oh, I asked, is all the decision makers going to be there? And that is a key question. The worst thing that can happen is at the end of your listing presentation that you did a killer job at, you crushed it, they turn around and say, I got to talk to my wife. She gets home at 6 o'clock and I'll call you tomorrow. That seller is not going to do a good enough job selling me the way I sold me. All right. So I want to make sure that both husband and wife or both decision makers are going to be there so I can speak to both of them at one time. So if she would have said, no, my husband gets home at 4 o'clock, I would say, great. I would really like if both of us would be able to get together if I'd be able to meet with both of you at the same time. Can we reschedule till 4 o'clock? I'd rather reschedule it to make sure that everyone that needs to be there is there. All right. And also I threw out at the end a soft close. Okay. I already told her from the very beginning, I'm already asking if everything works out the way everything works out and I show that I'm the right person to get your job, to get your home sold. Are you ready to hire me tomorrow? Okay. I know she said she's already interviewing a friend of the family on Monday, and that's fine. I can overcome that. And I don't care. I don't care if she's interviewing 15 other people. Okay. I want to know, is she ready to hire me tomorrow? And I'm going to ask those questions when I'm there. And I'm going to go there with my listing presentation for appointment, the listing packet signed, ready for them to go. And I just need their signatures and their initials now. Okay. So I can't stress enough how important the pre-listing consultation is. Okay. I want to hear from you guys. What are your thoughts about that telephone call or anything we spoke about just now with the listing consultation, the pre-listing consultation?
I kind of, I'm wondering, okay, well then what are you guys going to talk about tomorrow?
Oh, we got to talk about pricing. We got to talk about marketing, what that looks like, what I'm going to do. All right. It's kind of like priming the pump before I turn it on, you know? And I just really want to get a bunch of information about your motivation.
Okay.
Okay. What else? Nothing. Awesome. Cool. So I just want to stress it's really an important conversation to have. Don't just wing it. I could give you horror story after horror story of listing presentations that I went in and said, I got great news for you. You can sell your home for $280,000. And they're like, really? I thought I'd be able to get 310. Right. And I'm just like, oh man, I should have asked that question. Or if I turned around and said, super excited, and then when I finally sit down with them, find out that they don't necessarily want to move or have to move for another 8 to 12 months. And I was like, I thought this was going to be a slam dunk, right? Or find out that their home is in really, really poor condition, and it's not, or really, really great condition. That's not a true comparable. I didn't make those adjustments properly. Okay, so we have that. Some agents will do what's called a pre-listing packet. And a pre-listing packet is something that can pre-sell yourself. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, in full transparency, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. And that really depends on a lot of our conversation. So the presentation that I have, that I'm gonna show you guys, I have in landscape and in portrait mode. Right. So if I am going to send something out, I'm putting the one in portrait mode. I'm sending that out along with some other information about me, some testimonials. I'm attaching a small biography, a small bio about myself and my experience. What I'm not putting in there is I'm not giving them my marketing plan up front. I don't want them to know everything that I do. Okay. Last thing I want is for them to take my marketing plan, give it to someone over at Coldwell Banker and said, hey, this is what KW is doing. Can you do this? No, I want to show them my value when I get there.
John, you said testimonials, bio. What did you say? What was the first thing you said you include?
Just some, it's almost, actually, let me see if I could just share it with you. If I share my screen, I have the presentation. You guys can see my screen here?
Yes.
Okay, so I have my presentation of everything about me, and this is what we'll be going over. Okay, and during our consultation. However, I also have this in portrait mode in case if I am sending them out pre-listing. Let's see if I can actually find it right here. If I am sending that out to them, I'm just going to send them. Just give me 1 second. Let me see if I can pull it up here. 2019 listing booklet. So I have the presentation and the booklet. The booklet is going to be in. It's going to look more like a magazine, and I can send this out to them as well, along with some of that other information. So if I'm choosing to send this out, what I'm going to say to them is, hey, Cerise, I'm going to be sending you a document, a packet of some information, right? Mm-hmm. And if you maybe just take a look at this the pre-listing packet, let me know your thoughts when I get there, and we'll discuss it when we get there. And the purpose of this is so I could tell you all about, so you can learn about me and what we do. That way, when we meet tomorrow at 2 o'clock, we can focus on what's important to you. Okay. So I do this sometimes. I'm not going to lie. I don't do this on every listing presentation. I don't do this on most listing presentations. I would rather just give a nice, do a nice pre-listing consultation in the beginning. Okay. So in the meantime, from now until tomorrow at 2 o'clock when me and Cerise are going to be meeting, I got some homework to do, right? So I'm pulling up the tax records. I want to see, is her name on there and on the deed? I want to see if there's anybody else that needs to be on there. I want to know when the last time she sold the house was. I'm going to do a CMA, all right, to find out the estimated value of the home, but I'm also going to do a supply and demand analysis. I'm going to talk about that on Tuesday. Okay, but I'm going to do a supply and demand analysis. So that way I can come up with a couple different pricing strategies to get her home sold for the most money in the least time. All right. I'm preparing all the documents that I'm going to be taking with her. Whether that is whether that's actually putting the picture of her home into the listing presentation, whether it is having the packet, if I'm having anything printed up, putting together the folder that I'm going to take them, whatever it is I'm doing, I'm making sure that I'm going there and I'm fully ready for it. Okay. So now it's listing day. I'm calling Cerise up maybe about 15 minutes when I'm on my way. Hey, Cerise, just want to let you know I'm on my way. I should be there in about 10 to 15 minutes. Cerise, I'm really looking forward to meeting with you and earning the opportunity to sell your home today. All
Sounds
right.
good. See you soon.
Excellent. If you're gonna be late, really do everything you can to not be late to your listing presentation. Okay, that's the very first way to lose a client, is by showing up late to your first appointment with them. Okay, but if you are going to be late, just call them and let them know. All right, I'm running 5 minutes behind for this. I'm running 5 minutes behind for that. Try not to be 5 minutes behind. Okay, so you want to get there a little bit early, but not too early. You don't want to be that creeper that's sitting there in their driveway for 20 minutes before your meeting, because they're probably looking out the window going, are they going to knock on the door or what? All right. What I like to do if I get there a little bit early is drive around the neighborhood. I'm driving around the neighborhood looking to see, does their home look like some of the other homes there? What's special about this area compared to the other areas? Is that part of the neighborhood next to the lake? How do those homes compare to these homes? What does the community pool look like? Okay. I'm just trying to get an idea of what's going on in the neighborhood. Okay. 5 minutes before the meeting, I'm actually pulling up, parking my car in front of the house. I try not to park in the driveway. Okay. Why do you think I wouldn't want to park in a driveway?
Well, if you had an oil leak or something, you don't want to mess up their driveway, and you don't know who's coming and going. It's just sort of invading their private territory, parking your car there.
Yeah, that's one. Safety. All right, your safety as well. Safety is paramount. Someone could always just park their car right behind you, block you in, and you're stuck. All right. So
what if somebody needs to get out and you want right in the middle of your presentation? That's not going to be super helpful.
Yep. Or how about this? I did a listing presentation at a home in Parkland. I parked into their driveway. I went inside and I was meeting with the husband. The wife was running a few minutes behind. The wife walks into the house and she didn't say, "Oh, hi, you're John." She said, "Who's parked in my spot?" And I was like, it was so awkward because she actually asked me to move my car so she can have that spot instead of parking in the space right next to it. Right? How do you like me now? Right? So I was just like, I learned, don't park in the driveway. I might be in someone's spot. You ever sit in someone's chair and they're just like, "Get out of my chair. That's my chair." Right? It's the same thing. It's the same thing. So you get there, you knock on the door at 4 o'clock. This is from John Dietz's 10-step listing presentation. Take the step back. You knock on the door, take a step back. All right. I'm looking off into the distance. I'm not staring at the door. I want to step away because if they look to that peephole, you don't want to see me sitting there really close to that, right there at your door. Plus, when they open the door, right, you don't want to be right there. You want to come off as non-threatening. So by taking a couple steps back, I usually just have like my iPad with and my folder that I'm going to be presenting with. I introduce myself. "Hi, my name's John DiMartino. We had an appointment at 4 o'clock. It's 4 o'clock. May I come in?" Okay. I'm showing them a couple different things. One, I'm being professional. I'm showing deference to their, level of proximity. I'm not invading their space right then and there. I'm also introducing myself and asking for permission to enter. When I do go in, I'm going to ask them if I keep my shoes on or if they prefer that I take my shoes off at the door. Okay. Again, I'm just showing respect and courtesy for them and for their home. Next thing I'm going to ask them to do is I'm going to ask if I could just actually place my items down on the kitchen table. Just going to say if I could just place my items down on the kitchen table. Now, I do that for two reasons. One, I want to put my things on the kitchen table because that's where people do business. That's where we pay our bills if we don't have a home office. That's where we sit down, we have important discussions, everything's at the kitchen table. right? So I put that down there. The other thing is, after we tour around, I don't want him to tour me around and tour me out the front door. I want to have a spot to go and sit back down at. So we're going to go back to the kitchen table. All right. Just drop my things down there, and can you please show me around the house? Well, what do you want to see? Act as if I'm a buyer. All right. And then the whole time I'm taking notes of everything I see. Everything. When they start saying, and I'm also looking for, I'm taking notes because this is the information I'm going to use to sell their home, but I'm also looking for ways that I could build rapport with the person. So I was in the military. I spent 9 years in the military. So as soon as, if I'm walking around and I see some military, something in the house military, I might ask them, were you in the military also? And yes, we'll have a conversation about that. Oh, you're a sports fan, or you're a football fan. I'm also, and what I'm trying to do is just establish a rapport with the person. People will do business with that they like, know, and trust. And I want them to like me. At this point, I want them to like me. They're going to learn to trust me, and they're going to learn to trust me during our consultation. Okay. But I'm doing the walk around their house. If they ask me at any time, so I was thinking about repainting all the walls before we sell. Do you think I should? My answer to that question is always, I would. If they're asking if they should fix something, if they should repair something, if they should declutter something, if they should paint something, or if they should fix something, they're already thinking about it. And they've already asked themselves, do you think I should paint this ugly purple wall before I sell this house? Yeah, I would. They're already thinking it. I once showed a house that had purple and orange walls, and purple and orange. Every baseboard, every light switch, the cover, light plates, everything was purple or orange contrasting. It looked like Dunkin' Donuts. It really did, right? And that would have been one of those things where I would have said, I would have painted this a different color, all right? But that's what they chose to paint. If they come around and say, I'm thinking about renovating my kitchen before we sell the house, would you do that? That's something I might say I probably won't, because you're not going to get the return on investment that you would by doing some simple fixes. So simple fixes, yes. Major fixes, maybe not. Okay. All right. I'm not going into any more of that. We did the tour of the house. I taken plenty of notes. I will also like to ask them questions like, if you weren't moving, what else would you fix in this house next? What would you do next to the house? Okay. All right. So we go back to the kitchen table. If they are, like most people, they'll probably say, can I get you something to drink? Can I get you a glass of water? I don't care if you just drank a gallon of water in the car. Ask for a glass of water. Okay. That's going to do two things. One, it's going to give you an opportunity to kind of get yourself in order, kind of distract them rather than just jumping in right into your presentation. I also use that glass of water as an opportunity to see how much am I talking. Okay. So if I'm doing a lot of talking halfway through the presentation, I'm looking at that glass of water, and if it's still full, that means I need to shut up and start asking some more questions. If I'm half an hour into our presentation and I see I only have this much water left, I'm thinking to myself, I'm letting this person do too much talking. I need to take control of this conversation. All right. So I actually use that glass of water in front of me as almost like a little timekeeper, hourglass, if you will. Okay. Great. So we're sitting down, we're doing the listing presentation. So what I'm usually going to do next is kind of review everything that we had in our, that we spoke about on a pre-listing telephone call. So Cerise, I'm going to use you again. Okay. So, okay. So I would turn around and be like, Cerise, again, thank you so much for having me here. I'm really humble and thankful that you allowed me to come to your house today. One thing I could say is I know that there are thousands of agents in Broward County, right, that would do anything to be where I am right now. So I definitely, I'm going to show humility, but I'm definitely grateful for having this opportunity to list and sell your house.
Okay. Well, nice to meet you.
Absolutely. So Cerise, when we spoke yesterday, you had mentioned, I just want to recap our conversation. You said you wanted to get to New Jersey by August so you could be closer to your mother and take care of your mother. Is that correct still?
Yes.
Perfect, perfect. And you did say that your home, you were estimating about 520,000. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And I know you mentioned that you have another appointment on Monday. Is that still on?
Yeah, we haven't connected, but yeah, I believe it's still on.
Okay, perfect. And I'm going to ask one more time. And Cerise, at the end of our consultation today, at the end of our meeting today, if I could show you that I can get you the most money for your home in the shortest period of time and with the least hassles to you, if I could achieve all your goals, are you ready to hire me today?
Yeah, there's a possibility of that. Absolutely.
Excellent. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay. Now I'm going to go into a needs analysis, and I'm going to prioritize her goals. Okay. Even though I kind of know her motivation, I know what she's looking for. Now I want to prioritize her goal. So Cerise, if there was one thing that has to happen in this sale in order to make this an absolute 10, a perfect transaction for you, what is that one thing that has to happen?
A perfect 10, I think for me, is just getting the asking price that I want.
Okay. And that asking price was 520, right?
Yes.
Well, and what's important about $520,000 to you?
I think it allows for me to cover all of the expenses I put into the house. It allows me a little bit of money when I go up there, up to New Jersey. I just think that I'd be able to walk away clean from this house with that amount.
Okay. All right. Perfect. And if we were to get 520, you have that money to get up to New Jersey. What would that do for you and your family?
It'd be one less thing to worry about. Make it a little more comfortable.
Okay. Security, some stability, comfort, and you know, less stress, right?
Sure.
Perfect. Excellent. So, Cerise, if there was one other thing that I could do to make this a 10 plus transaction, all right? If there's something, so let's say I get you that 520 number that you're looking for. If there's one other thing I could do to make this an absolute perfect transaction, what would that be?
I think hassle-free for me.
Okay. What does hassle-free look like to you?
Hassle-free looks like, just confident that you're just taking care of everything, that every week it's not a different thing that I have to, take time out of my day to focus on. I just really want you to take care of this. Just get it done.
Okay. Perfect. Perfect. So, and we didn't get into this or anything yet, Cerise, but just so you know, I actually have a communication guarantee. And what that communication guarantee is, every Monday, I have it on my calendar, every Monday you're going to hear from me. Okay. So and every Monday I'm going to be letting you know what's going on in the market. I'm letting you know what some of the feedback we had, how many showings we had. But I'm definitely going to make sure that you're aware where we stand every step of the way.
I love it.
Perfect. So great. So we're making this a hassle-free transaction. You're up to date on everything. You know that John and his team has you taken care of. I'm getting you $520,000. So if there was one more thing that we could do to make this a 10 plus, an absolute perfect, there was nothing else I could ask for, what would that be? What would have to happen?
That we stay on time. Okay. Stay within our timeline.
Okay. And that time frame is by August.
Mm-hmm.
And you told me on the phone your reasoning of why August is important. Okay. What if we make it, if I'm able to get you your price and it's hassle free, but it goes a little bit over August, would that be a problem?
That would be a little bit of a problem.
That would be a problem. Okay.
A little, yeah. Okay. It would definitely be an inconvenience.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. And the reason I'm asking these questions, Cerise, is I want your goals to become my goals. All right. And this is how, my goals to focus on when I'm selling your home. Okay, so you said price $520,000. You want it to be hassle-free, and time frame is very important. If I could achieve 2 of these and just barely miss that third one, which of those 2 that I absolutely have to hit?
I'd consider, let's focus on timeline and hassle-free.
Timeline and hassle-free. Okay, perfect. So if I was to get it done by August, make it hassle-free, easy for you, so that way you don't have to worry about anything else down here, but we happen to take just a little less than 520, that you'd be okay.
A little less, and yes, I'd be okay.
Perfect. Perfect. So really, guys, break script. So what I'm trying to do now is find out not only their motivation, but I really want to find out, I want to prioritize their needs. And I know right now, even though she gave me time frame as her number 3 thing that she wanted, when we actually started prioritizing, found out that's really her number 1. It has to be by August. Okay. So I'm going to make sure that we do everything to make sure that it sells by August. By the way, so you guys all know, I'm sorry, give me 1 second, Paige. By the way, so you guys all know, Eddie, you've been doing this for 31 years. It seems like their goals are always like the same 3 or 4 things, right? Time frame, price, hassle-free. Sometimes they say, I want it to go to a really good family. Okay.
Yep.
But it's
Yeah.
usually always the same things, right, Eddie?
Always the same.
Yeah. It's just trying to figure out which order they're going to say it in.
Yep.
Okay. Paige, you had a question.
Yes, thanks. You said the reason I ask is I want your goals to become my goals, and you said something important that I don't remember.
I want your goals to become my goals.
Because, or something like that. So that I can, something like that.
I just know that it was, I want, it's important. I want to know your goals because I want to mirror your goals so that my goals become your goals, or
Okay.
your goals were my goals. Something like
Okay.
that. It may have been something filler that I was saying. I forgot what I said. All right, great. So Cerise, I'm actually going to show you what we do in order to get your home sold. And now I'm going to go into, if you notice, I haven't said anything about me yet. All right, all I'm doing is asking everything about Cerise. All right, so now if I sent her this pre-listing packet, I'm going to ask her if, Cerise, I sent you that pre-listing packet yesterday. Did you get a chance to take a look at that?
I actually haven't had a chance just yet.
Okay, not a problem. So I like to ask that question when I do send out the listing pre-listing packet, because that's going to give me an idea of what kind of person am I dealing with. Someone that's very busy, okay? Someone that is they just didn't have a time to look at it at all, and that's normal, right? That just means I need to go a little bit more in detail on this. But I've also had people turn around and say, actually I did. And I love when I was reading about you and your wife, you guys both worked in hospitality, this and that, blah, blah, that's great. Okay. So now I know that I'm talking with someone who values, and I'm not saying that nobody values family, but they value those relationships, and they're looking into the little things on here as well. Sometimes I might work with someone and they say, yeah, everything looks really good. I did notice on page 9 that you had a misspelling. You spelled the word license wrong. Okay. And that's fine, because that means I need to bring my A game with that person, because they're reading everything. Okay. So it becomes really helpful when I know who I'm speaking to, when I'm asking those questions. Or when I'm doing that, when I'm asking that question. All right, awesome. So I don't always use this presentation. I'm sorry, I always use this presentation, but I don't always use my iPad for it. Depending how the conversation is going, depending if they look through the pre-listing packet. If not, I'm breaking out my iPad and I'm showing this on the screen on the iPad. I'm not gonna go word by word in here. Some of the slides in here, I might just skim right through, because this stuff is fluff. It's not the meat and potatoes. The meat and potatoes of this conversation is the needs analysis and figuring out prioritizing your motivation, and the pricing strategy. Okay. So Cerise, I know you said that you're very busy, and I know we also have very limited time here. So I'm not going to spend too much time going over every line that's in here. I'm just going to highlight some of these, and if you have any questions, please feel free just to stop me at any time. All right. So great. So I'm going to have their picture in here, by the way. Make sure you have a picture of her home in there. Okay, so this we treat every one of our clients, every one of our clients' marketing plan is custom tailored to them based on their needs and their desires. Both my wife and I are both realtors. We have our own real estate team. Okay, I'm missing a page there. There we go. For some reason that was out of order. And I like to talk about myself for about this much amount of time. I don't like talking about myself at all. Okay, because it's not about me. Okay, but I'm going to say, just so like my wife, Joanna, and we both have our real estate team. I've been in real estate for 5 years now. In the past, I was in the military, and then I spent 15 years in hospitality. Okay, and this is my wife as well, in case you haven't met her. We've been, like I said, in real estate now for the last 5 years. Over the last few years, we're seeing that we're taking list price to sales price ratio of about 98.6%, all right, and selling homes on average in about 27 days. Now, the average in Broward County is selling homes at about 93, 94%, and selling homes on average in about 43 days. Now, the reason why I show you this, Cerise, is just by listing with us, you're going to sell your home for more money and in a shorter time than if you were to hire an average real estate agent in Broward County. Okay. Most of my business, in fact, almost 70% of our business comes from referrals, okay, and referrals and past clients, all right, and repeat business. So we'll be having that as well. We have a full support team that's going to help manage the sale all the way through to closing. All right, so a lot of agents, what will happen is they'll meet with you here, and then they'll pass you off to someone else on their team, and then they'll never hear from them again. Okay, and that's not how me and my wife work. We have a transaction coordinator that will also work with you every step of the way. Okay, and we'll be here all the way until we get to closing, and then we'll be shaking hands, kissing babies, and you'll be getting a check for your house. And won't that be exciting? All right, so what I'm doing is just giving a very brief resume of me, what we do differently, and why they should hire me. Cerise, let me ask you a question. Have you sold a home before? Is this your first home selling, or have you done it before?
This is my first one.
Okay, perfect. So I like to ask that question and break script. If this is their first home, I'm going to spend a little bit more time going through step by step on what the process of what's going to happen over the next couple months. Okay. If she said that she's an old hat at this, she sold 5 homes already, she's familiar with it. Great. So let's go ahead and we'll just focus on what we do a little bit differently. Okay. So that's going to be one of those determining factors if I'm going to go into this in detail or not. All right, great. So we are right here. This is our initial meeting. We just did the walkthrough and we did our needs analysis. What we're going to do today is going to establish a competitive price, and we're going to sign the listing agreement. Did you see my little, I put in that embedded command. You will be signing this listing agreement today. We will be coming up with a competitive price today. So I'm putting that in there, and that's why I even have it highlighted in red. So today we're going to be establishing competitive price. We're going to be signing a listing, we're going to get started. All right. Now, once we do go on the market, we're going to launch a very aggressive coming soon campaign. And that coming soon campaign is going to put us in a position where we're building up anticipation for when we actually launch your house. Okay. Mm-hmm. That way, when we do go live and do our first open house, we're going to have a bunch of people ready to just come through that door and hopefully get your home sold quickly. All right. We'll do a very aggressive marketing campaign, and I'll go into that in a moment. Once we go under contract with a buyer, I'm going to continue to market your home, Cerise, okay, so that we can collect backup offers. All right. Unfortunately, and I'm going to do everything we can to vet every offer that comes into us. However, sometimes a deal might fall through. And if that deal falls through, I want to make sure I have a couple backups. That way that deal falls through. We're not starting from scratch. I have just another offer ready to go into first position. Okay. And then, like I said, Pamela is my transaction coordinator. And me, you, and Pamela, and my wife, Joanna, we're going to be working through all the contract to close details. Until here, closing day is a great day. You give the buyer the keys, they give you a nice fat check, and we are good to go. All right. We'll have a champagne toast and to celebrate the closing of your home. And that is a super excited day. Any questions about the process?
No, this is pretty straightforward.
Awesome. So we're going to continue. We'll continue on. How come it's not continuing on? Great. So let's talk about what we do differently to get homes sold. Okay. So most sellers, and by the way, guys, this presentation I got from Michael Lewis Marketing Suite. Okay. So Michael Lewis Marketing Suite, ready for this? The free stuff. It actually says Michael Lewis Marketing Suite, free stuff. And they have like 4 or 5 different templates. Okay. I picked and choose the template that I wanted. I customized it with my information. Do the same. If you guys want, I can even send you my presentation and just change my name and my logo. I don't care. Okay. So that's where I got all these stats and graphs from. Okay. So just so you know, one of the biggest ways buyers find their homes is online. Okay. So they're going on to those Zillows and Realtor.coms and all those big websites to see the homes that's available. So it's really important that we make your home look really, really good and get it online to as many different websites as we possibly can right away. All right, so when you list with us, Cerise, we're actually going to have your home is going to be listed on about 1,200 different websites, including the big ones like Zillow, Trulia, and Realtor.com. But it's also going to be even on our competitor websites as well. All right, we syndicate and market on their websites additionally. It's going to be on international sites and so forth. But you're going to be on about 1,200 different websites. We want your home to be in front of as many people as possible. So we're going to be listing it that way.
Wow.
One of the things we're going to do, we have a stager that will walk through and give you a consultation on the property to give you some staging tips of what you can do to make your home look and be staged a little bit better and make it more appealing to the eye. All right. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with your home right now. It's just the stager that we use. She's an interior designer. She knows exactly what she's looking for and what buyers are looking for as well. And you'll be surprised. Sometimes it's as simple as moving those 2 chairs, separating them a little bit further, makes the room look that much bigger. Okay. So I'm going to have her come in here as well. Now, break script. If you're not using, if you don't have this service, and this is just an interior designer, a staging company that she'll do a buyer's consultation for $75. Okay. That's Margot's Interior. But you don't have to use her, Margot Staging. You can use anyone. She charges $75. She'll walk through the house and say, paint these orange and purple walls, do this, change, clean this, do that. And I would much rather have her be the bad guy saying that your walls are ugly than me saying it. That way, if she says your walls are ugly, I'm like, she said it, and she's completely impartial. But that's always good. If you don't use a stager, that's fine too. Just make sure you're telling them to declutter, depersonalize, make sure the house is brightly lit and so forth. Okay, but we're going to do so I'm back on script. So, Cerise, we're going to do everything to make your home show the best. All right, when we have the photos taken. Okay. We use professional photographers to come in and photo and video your home. If you're dealing with a real estate agent and he pulls out his cell phone to start taking the pictures of your home, okay, cancel that contract and get a new agent. Okay, these 2 pictures right here are of the same living room space. One is taken with an iPhone, and the other is taken with a professional photographer. And you can see it does make a really big difference. Okay. We're going to do a very aggressive social media campaign. So your home's going to be broadcasted out on social media and actually targeted to buyers that are actually looking in this area and ready to buy right now. So we'll be doing just a targeted campaign as well. You'll also have an individual property website for your home, and I'll give you the address so you can share on your social media the link to your listing as well so other people can see it. I'm going to have a stand in front of your home with property flyers specific for your home. All right. So that way a buyer can walk through, they can have something that they can take with them. But it's going to have some of the pictures, a brief description of your home, a quick overview of what's going on in the area, tell you about the schools that's there. But I will have flyers in here for any of the buyers that may walk in. Okay, we're also going to notify your neighbors. Are you going to notify your neighbors and targeted buyers that your home is for sale? There's a good possibility. I'm not expecting the guy that lives across the street from you to buy your home, right? But there's a good possibility he knows someone that might want to move into this area. So I definitely want to let them know as well. Okay, so I'm going to do a just listed campaign in your neighborhood. I'm going to break script for a second, guys. The other reason I'm doing this is I'm letting other people know that I'm in production. I'm taking listings in this neighborhood. And if you want to sell your home, call me. All right, so I'm doing it for 2 reasons. 1, to get the word out that your house is for sale. 2, I want more business.
Mm.
All right, so take advantage of just listeds and so forth. Guys, I also see, I'm sorry, I see that it is 10:30. If you guys have to jump off, I promise I won't be offended, okay? Except for the first person that pushes unsubscribe, get off right now. No, but if you guys have to jump off, I definitely understand. We're gonna probably run about 15 minutes over, so. All right, back on script. So we're going, so we are gonna do an aggressive print campaign in your neighborhood to let everyone know that your home is for sale.
What
Okay.
the sellers don't know is you're going to be sending just under contract and closed postcards after that.
Oh yeah, I want more business. Okay, so here's my take when it comes to open houses. Okay, here's my take on open houses. Have you ever walked into a house and said, this is going to be an amazing property to do an open house at? All right. Or have you ever walked into a property and said, I do not want to do an open house at this property? All right. Chances are it's usually that second one. All right. So what I do, depending on my walkthrough, is how much I'm going to speak about open houses. If I see that this property is an amazing property that I definitely want to do open houses on, it's accessible, it shows super well. If I do an open house here, it's going to be a huge success. Then I'm going to go into what we do on our open houses and how we make it more of an event. However, if it's a property that I'm not too crazy about doing open houses for, or it's a gated community where the community doesn't allow open houses, I'll kind of take the other approach on it. And what I'll say is something along the lines of, hey, Cerise, just so you know, the odds of a home being sold from an open house, right, is really only less than 1%. Okay, so I could do open houses at your property, but the odds of someone actually buying it from the open house is only 1%. They may end up wanting to buy another home. All right, so the good part about that is I may be doing an open house at another home, right? And if so, I can always bring that buyer over to here. Okay, so I may not do as many open houses as you may expect. All right, but I'll kind of like explain that you know those two different things. Now there is truth to that. That's not just me making it up. All right, in my career, I've only sold 2 homes from the open houses. All right, from walking on an open house, and actually both of those people were people that were already in the neighborhood and got a postcard or saw me door knocking. Or I had them in my sphere and I invited them to the open house. So the odds of someone driving around on a Sunday morning, happening to see your balloons and jumping in and buying that house, it's slim. It's possible. It's slim though. Okay. All right. So that's actually out of order on there. So let's talk about our pricing. I'm sorry. I also have an 89-point marketing plan, and this is where I'd actually pull that marketing plan out. Okay. I know in Command, I think it's a 14-point marketing plan. You'll see online other places have a 20-point marketing plan. I have an 89-point marketing plan. And if you want, I can even send you guys a copy of my 89-point marketing plan. I've never had one person go through my marketing plan and say, John, you didn't do number 67. You said you were gonna, I've never had anyone say that. And it's not the point for them to go through and say, yep, he did this, he did this, he did this, he did this. Most sellers just want to make sure that we have a plan. Right? They just want to make sure that we have a plan. I think it was George Bush Sr., President George Bush Sr. He had a plan. I forget what it was, but it was something like his 700 points of light or something like that. And it was his plan. It had like 700 different points in it. And no one went through and really read all 700 of those things. But the American people wanted to know that he had a plan. And it's the same exact thing as I have a plan, an 89-point marketing plan. Now, if I don't put it in here, because if they don't give me that business, I'm taking my marketing plan with me as I'm leaving. All right, because that's what makes me special. Okay? If not, I'll leave with them. I don't care. But I want to just show them. I do have an 89-point marketing plan. I'll leave the copy with you. Just so you know, it's a very aggressive social media. It's very aggressive print marketing and very aggressive prospecting to try to marry buyers to sellers and sellers to my buyers. Okay. At the end of the day, if I don't get your home sold within a reasonable amount of time, The only thing that's going to happen is you're just going to be upset with me. Okay. So, and I don't get paid. Nobody gets paid. I want to make sure your home gets sold. I want to be very aggressive with my marketing. Okay. So I talk about that and I use that as my segue into pricing. Okay. So I'm jumping back onto scripting with Cerise again. All right. So Cerise, now that's my marketing plan. Do you have any questions about what we went over so far?
No, this is all looking pretty good.
Awesome. Now, you know, but now the truth of the matter is, even the best marketing plan out there, okay, will not cause your house to sell if the pricing is wrong. Okay. So when I say that, what I'm really saying is pricing is the absolute best thing that you can do. That's the best marketing you can do for your home. Okay. Is actually getting the price down properly. So let's just have a conversation about what pricing looks like. Okay. And again, I'm not pulling out their CMA yet. I'm not even looking at specific numbers. I just want to show them some graphs. I want them to grasp this concept that we're about to have. All right. So Cerise, just by looking at this graph right here, you know, if we were to price our home at market value, what we're going to get is about 60% of the potential buyers that come into the house are going to, that would buy the house, are going to make it in and actually walk into your house. That's if we price it at market value. Okay. Now, if we price it above market value, just 10% above market value, you can see we're cutting down the number of potential buyers in half by 30%. All right. Conversely, if we price our home just below market value, let's say as much as 10% below market value, we're going to get 75% of the potential buyers actually walking in the house. They're seeing a value in the home and they're going to come into the house. We're going to get more traffic into the house. Now, one of the things we definitely do not want to do is price it too high, because if we price it above market value, look, we're dropping down to only 10% of the buyers walking into your house. And we also don't want to price it too low, because if we price it too low, the next question people are going to ask is, what's wrong with this house? Something's going on. It's way too low. All right. So ideally, we'd want to have our home priced at or just below market value. This is really our sweet spot in order to get the home sold. Does this make sense?
This makes sense.
Great. So Cerise, but if you're looking at this, what, around where do you think we should have our home priced?
Well,
but as I ask this, I'm usually pointing at this right here. So just by looking at this, where do you think we should have our home priced?
Well, you know, and initially, you know, I wanted that 520. I thought that, you know, but what I want versus market value based on this might be a bit different.
Okay.
So, you know, maybe 500, 499 might be a more realistic market value.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. We want to price our home around market value, if not just below. Okay. Now I do that.
Or you could say, Cerise, to John, is my 520 in that market value?
Yeah. And I haven't even looked at a comp yet whatsoever.
Yeah.
I want Cerise, I want my seller to say, I need to price it at market value. I want them to say it.
Yeah.
All right. You teach.
Or you could say, is it in that market value, my 520?
Yeah. So Cerise, so I agree. You want to get the home priced at market value. Great. And we'll take a look at exactly what market value is for your home. Just so you know why price is so important. This graph actually right here actually comes from National Association of Realtors, and research has shown that within the first 2 to 3 weeks is when we're going to get the most amount of activity on your home. Okay. Each one of these lines down here at the bottom is weeks on the market, but we're going to show when we first go on the market, we're going to get a lot of activity in the very, very beginning. After about week 3, week 4, the activity amount is going to start to go down until about 3 months out, when your next door neighbor doesn't even know that your home is for sale anymore. Okay. So ideally what we want to do is make sure we're priced right in the very, very beginning. Okay. Now around day 21, around 14 to 21 days in, we're going to get an idea of some feedback of the price. So if we're starting to get, we have nobody coming into the home, that's telling us that the market has rejected that price and we need to adjust at that point. Okay. However, if we're getting a bunch of people coming in and nobody's making offers, the market again is rejecting your price and we're going to need to make an adjustment. Either way, regardless of whatever we do, Either way, whatever we do, we're going to make an adjustment. If your home isn't sold in 3 weeks, we're going to make an adjustment on that price.
Okay.
Okay. Now I'm doing that break script. I'm doing that because I want to set the expectation where if we're 3 weeks on the market and we've had a bunch of showings and no offers, we're making a price reduction. All right. And now if we go 2 to 3 weeks and we don't have anyone coming in, we're making a price reduction. And I'm setting myself up for success by getting a price reduction around week 3 or week 4.
Mm-hmm.
So when Cerise says, I want to sell my home all the way up here while it's worth over here, not a problem. I'm going to fight with her on that for a little bit. But if she wants to, all right, not a problem. We'll try it your way. However, I'm making a price reduction at 3 weeks regardless. At that point, it's going to be how much of a price reduction are we making?
John, do you think that it's best to kind of like I saw what you were doing. You were pulling it out from her.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, let's set the expectation price. Like, okay, let's pull out the realistic price. She wanted 520, but you was trying to pull out from her. Where do you think the realistic price is at?
Mm-hmm.
And then, so would it be good to try to pull the clients to say, hey, listen, I know you wanted 520, but where do you see this right here? If I was to show you the CMA and I show you the inventory, what's out there, where do you see your price at? Like, is that
what's going to be more of a conversation when we're actually going over the specific numbers? I just want her to say, I want to price it at or below market value. I want to be here in this sweet spot.
Got it.
Okay. Because I want her to see the future pain of if we price it too high, less people are coming into the house. And if we wait too long, my next door neighbor doesn't know my house is for sale anymore.
Now he's gonna get into price after this.
Exactly. So now, and I'm just setting it up so we can have our price.
Setting it up. Got it.
Setting
okay.
it up.
But I did catch on to that whole thing. Like, where do you think the price, like what Eddie said, kind of pull it out of them. Yeah. Let them say it.
Oh yeah. And like I said, until I get into the specific pricing numbers, I'm not touching it yet. I just want to grab this concept of we need to price it at market value. I'm going to do it again right here, by the way. Okay. So Cerise, one of the things that we see is when a home sells, the homes that sell they're priced right. They're in the best third in its bracket in terms of pricing, and it's also in the best third in terms of condition. Okay, so your condition is compared to the comps, and it's better than those comps. We're going to be closer to the left side, and once our pricing is within the best third in that bracket, we're going to be down here. All right, we refer to that as being in the market. Okay. Now, if the condition of our home compared to the comps is great compared to everybody else, but we're overpriced, all right, we're going higher up here. We refer to this range as being out of the market. Okay, and we certainly don't want to be out of the market. We want to be competitive on our pricing, correct?
Sure, absolutely.
This area in the middle, we call it no man's land because anything can happen there. We don't know. Okay, anything can happen, but that's no man's land. All right, but ideally, we want to be priced right here in the best third in terms of condition and the best third in terms of pricing. So Cerise, having seen this, would you want to have your home priced in the market or out of the market?
Definitely in the market.
Of course, absolutely. So it's important that we make sure we price. And this is really just to show the importance of getting the price right the first time.
Just to get a little laugh, the 3% brokers are out of the market. The no man's land is the 4% brokers, and the 6% are in the market.
Yeah. This is another page that I use after when they want to price it up here and then say we can always chase the market later, right? We can always bring the price down later. What scares me about that, Cerise, is this is a graph that is showing time. We want to price ahead of the market. If we're saying that the market value is over here, but you want to price it over here, what essentially is going to end up happening is we're kind of fishing with our bait out of the water. Okay, and a couple weeks later, you're going to say, John, I think you were right. Let's make a price adjustment to where you said. The problem is we've already been a few weeks, if not a couple months on the market. And that interest, remember I showed you that interest rate earlier? The interest already started going down. And when interest goes down, perceived value goes down. So when you're saying that your home is worth, you want to adjust it now to 500, the perceived value might be around 475 now. And what ends up happening is you never end up getting the price you want because you're constantly chasing the market. So what we really want to do is price it where the market is going, not where the market is right now. Okay.
I see.
So I will really only go back to this slide when I know she wants her home overpriced. Okay. But I will spend so much time on these couple slides right here.
Mm-hmm.
And I keep going back to these couple slides left all the time. I keep going back to them. All right. Awesome. My promise to you, Cerise, is, like I said, I'm going to be giving you full communication. We have a cancellation guarantee. If you're not happy for any reason, just, we can cancel our listing agreement. I don't charge any cancellation fees or anything like that. I want you to be happy.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Only thing I ask is if it's because I'm doing something wrong, just give me an opportunity to try to correct it. Other than that, I know we can cancel it anytime. My satisfaction guarantee. My goals is going to be the same exact thing as to get the home sold by August for the most amount of money and with the least hassle. Okay. So are you ready to find out what's happening in the market?
Yeah, let's see what's going on.
And then this is where I will start going into and having the true pricing conversation. Okay. Which we're going to discuss on Tuesday. But this is where we're having our true pricing conversation. And what I'm doing is, like I said, I'm setting them up to have this pricing conversation. So that way when Cerise tells me, you know what, market value is 500 and I want to price it at 550. You know what scares me about that, Cerise? Your home is awesome compared to the other homes in the area. I know you have brand new kitchen, brand new bathroom, new roof, new air conditioning, impact window. You have everything here. But if we're priced above the market, your home is really out of the market, priced out of the market. You did tell me earlier that we should price the home in the market, right?
I did.
Yeah. And then I'll kind of go back to this slide, right? And I literally will spend so much time constantly going back to these 4 slides because it's that important to get them to understand that the best marketing and advertising they could do for their house is by having a solid pricing strategy and by pricing it home properly the first time. All right. So on Tuesday, we're going to have the conversation about pricing the home to sell. I just want to recap a couple things. So we're doing the pre-listing consultation. All right. We're doing a pre-listing packet. We are going there doing the walkthrough, prioritizing their goals, prioritizing their needs. And then we're going through our presentation and then go into the pricing. All right. What questions do you guys have? What questions do you have about this? I know we went over, but what questions do you have on this?
Hey, JD, are you going to be posting this somewhere so we could look at it ourselves and kind of practice with it?
I can. Yeah,
Awesome.
I could put it into the chat box right now, actually.
Boom. Thank you.
I can put it into the chat box and then you guys can download this. Like I said, I did get this presentation from Michael Lewis Marketing. And once I had it there, I just customized, with my information. But feel free to shamelessly steal everything in here.
Hey, John.
Yes.
Do we pay for the home staging?
So when you have the home staged, hold on one second, it's being shared.
John, the answer is that depends.
I'm sorry, I was looking at something else. Yeah, my answer is that depends. Do I pay for the home staging? Most likely not. Usually the seller is the one that pays for it. Okay, because what they're doing is renting the furniture from the stager to have in their home. Okay. Now, if it's someone like Margot, where I'm going to have this interior designer come in and give a staging consultation, right? And if she charges $75 for that, I'm going to pay for that. That's going to be part of my value proposition.
Okay, got it. Thanks.
So I'm going to say it depends on the price of the listing and what, what the actual money looks like, whether or not that happens by me or by the seller.
Yep.
If there's enough money there to cover that expense and I can offer that and win the listing because I'm offering something that somebody else is not, I'm going to take advantage of that situation.
Yeah, and remember, even though I said that I don't charge a cancellation fee, which I don't, you're protected in the listing agreement because it says that you can ask to have reimbursed for reasonable marketing expenses. If you are paying for the staging and you are paying for this, we can always ask them to compensate for those items. Another thing you could do is say, yeah, I'll pay for it, and then it'll just be deducted from your proceeds at closing. All right. So there's definitely different things you could do. All right. What other questions or anything do we have? Nothing. Eddie, is this presentation, the concepts, is this presentation similar to what you've used for 30 years?
Yes, very similar, very similar. In fact, with your technology savviness, you have made it even more understandable to the seller. Mine is more like the old PDF in your hand kind of a presentation till now,
Okay.
which I feel like if I was going to be doing it on a high level today, I should make it a PowerPoint.
Oh yeah, and remember, it's not just necessarily the PowerPoint presentation that's special. All right, it is just the fact of giving this information to them.
Yes.
And now, granted, remember, there are some times when I'm just skimming through these documents, these pages really fast. I wanted to give you guys just a little deep dive on each one of these slides, but there's times where I'm going to not get into as much detail and just say, look, we're going to be on. Your home's going to be listed in about 1,200 different websites and search engines, including the main ones and the competitors. All right, we're going to have your home staged so that it looks absolutely perfect. We're going to use professional photography so that we're showing your home in the best.
And John, go back a little bit where you have your personal information, where your 5 years experience and all that stuff. Okay. Now, if agents don't have that, they could put the company numbers here on the slide.
Yep. If you're in productivity coaching and you don't have numbers yet, use my numbers. I don't care.
Exactly.
All right. Use my numbers. All right. Cerise, you joined the productivity coaching program yesterday. Welcome. I'm so happy to have you. Guess what? You're part of the largest team, one of the largest teams in Florida.
Yep.
All right. You now have your team. And when you say that, you're saying we are selling homes on average in 27 days.
Yep.
We have 98.6% list price to sale price ratio. We are consistently ranked in the top 20 in our market center.
Yep.
We are taking more listings. We are in the top 5% in the MLS in Broward County.
Yep.
Now, if they say how many have you particularly, whatever, that's fine. That's a different story. And you could spin that to say, well, you know what, I am new to real estate. However, I have the backing of a team of 80 people.
Exactly.
Right? So don't be afraid of, I don't have any numbers. All right. Don't be afraid of, I don't have any numbers. But like I said, again, this stuff, you could just start skimming through this. You don't have to go in detail on every single page. This isn't what gets you the business. My value proposition is pricing, is knowing how to price it right. So I would spend more time focusing on these than anything else that I covered. And the last thing I would probably say before we wrap up here, the last thing I would say is use soft closes throughout the presentation, like I did. Cerise, are you ready to get started? I'm using embedded commands. So Cerise, when you hire a professional like me to get your home sold, okay, at the very end, once we agreed to that price, Cerise, I'm very excited to get started. Are you ready to get started? Let's go. Are you ready to put me to work? That's one of my favorite lines to say. That's usually how I close it. Are you ready to put me to work for you? You ready to get started? Here's the agreement. All right. If there are going to be a few objection handlers for that, all right, we're not going to go into that now. that would be definitely those objection handlers. You definitely want to attend Mike Shalongo's script practice to go over what some of those objections are. But remember, the purpose of the telephone call when you're lead generating is to get the appointment, and the purpose of the appointment is to get signatures on a listing agreement. All right, Cerise, am I selling your home?
Looks like you're selling my home, John.
Ooh, I got that listing. So I put the presentation in here, and it looks like I put the 89-point marketing plan in the chat box, as well as 47 ways to make your home sell faster.
Mm-hmm.
And I put the blank listing presentation. Does everyone see that? Perfect.
Yep.
Yeah, for whatever reason, I'm not seeing it, John.
You're not seeing it, huh? I'll email it to you, Mike. I'll email it to you.
Can we put it in the Facebook page in the files?
I most certainly will do that.
Awesome. And then did you ever find out about the grab and go for quarterly stats yesterday or the other day when you had your meeting with upper management?
So yeah, I did ask about that, and I guess with the quarter being what it is, we don't have that available because the stats are going to be kind of skewed. So it really doesn't have a representation of the broader market. However, I've got that question into Richard, so we'll see what ultimately he can share with us and provide.
Okay, they think that the Q1 stats are skewed.
They're going to be a little skewed because if you remember, that sort of kicked in
Middle of Q1.
January, February. Yeah, it's February it started to kick in, and in March it was really in. So we're going to find out more about that and see what we can get from Richard on that.
Yeah, what I'm going to recommend that you do, Nicole, is get onto Richard's Keeping Current Matters, or even play around on trend graphics, because those we're going to be able to take some of the data that we got on the from the quarterly stats classes, and we can put our own data in there. But as far as I know that we don't have the Q1 stats that we had in the past, though.
And I know what you're looking for, and what you're looking for probably didn't change much. You're looking for those 100 homes. What happened to 100 homes that sold? Just use the ones from Q4.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's a similar story quarter to quarter. I promise you that story is very similar.
Yep.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks, guys.
All right.
You got it.
Cerise, I'm gonna invite you into that group right now. Into that Facebook group, and this class is recorded on and it's live on the Waxman Group Pro coaching page. All right, guys, thank you so much. If you have any questions, let me know. You can always reach out to me at any time. Next week, Rob Carbucci is going to be going over his listing presentation. Then we have Eddie and Mike in the following weeks after. Thank you very much for your participation. Cerise, thank you for being a good sport and letting me sell your home. All right. And we'll see you guys on Tuesday when we go over pricing strategies to sell.